Nothing to Envy: Real Lives in North Korea is a non-fiction book written by Barbara Demick, published in 2009. The book provides an intimate look into the lives of 6 ordinary citizens of North Korea, revealing the harsh realities of life under the totalitarian regime of Kim Jong-il. Through their stories, Demick paints a vivid picture of the country's history, its political system, and the daily struggles faced by its people. The first character introduced in the book is Mi-ja, a 60-year-old woman who was born into a wealthy family in Pyongyang before the Korean War. Her father was a prominent figure in the Japanese colonial government, and she grew up in a luxurious home with servants. However, her life takes a dramatic turn when the Korean War breaks out, and her family is forced to flee to the countryside. They eventually settle in a rural village near the Chinese border, where they are reduced to poverty and struggle to survive. Another character is Jun Sang, a young man who grew up in the same village as Mi-ja. His father was a political prisoner, and his mother died during childbirth. As a result, he was raised by his grandparents, who were also political prisoners. Jun Sang is incredibly intelligent and ambitious, but his background makes it difficult for him to gain access to education or jobs. He eventually finds work as a counterfeiter, producing fake currency and other documents to support the regime. The third character is Sung-hee, a young woman who lives in the same village as Mi-ja and Jun Sang. She is a member of the Red Youth Guard, a group of teenage girls who are trained to be loyal supporters of the regime. Sung-hee's father is a high-ranking official in the Workers' Party of Korea, and she is expected to follow in his footsteps. However, she begins to question her loyalty after witnessing the brutal realities of life in North Korea. The fourth character is Hyun-hye, a woman who grew up in the countryside during the Japanese colonial period. She joins the Korean resistance movement during World War II and eventually becomes a sniper, killing hundreds of Japanese soldiers. After the war, she marries a high-ranking official in the North Korean government and enjoys a life of privilege. However, she eventually becomes disillusioned with the regime and is sent to a labor camp for criticizing Kim Il-sung, the country's founder and her husband's mentor. The fifth character is Dr. Kim, a young man who dreams of becoming a doctor but is forced to join the army due to North Korea's mandatory military service. He serves in the medical corps and eventually rises through the ranks to become a high-ranking official in the Ministry of Public Health. However, he too becomes disillusioned with the regime and begins to question its policies. The final character is Mrs. Kim, a middle-aged woman who lives in the capital city of Pyongyang. She is a devoted member of the Workers' Party of Korea and believes wholeheartedly in the regime's ideology. Her husband is a high-ranking official in the government, and they enjoy a comfortable life with access to luxuries like foreign goods and private transportation. However, even Mrs. Kim begins to question the regime's policies when her son is drafted into the army and sent to fight in the border regions. Throughout the book, Demick provides extensive historical context for the development of North Korea, beginning with its founding by Kim Il-sung in 1948. She describes the country's isolationist policies, its rigid class system, and the extreme measures taken by the regime to maintain control over its population. These include the creation of a personality cult around Kim Il-sung and his son, Kim Jong-il, the establishment of labor camps for political prisoners, and the use of propaganda to indoctrinate the population. One of the central themes of the book is the pervasive fear and paranoia that permeates North Korean society. Demick explains that this is cultivated by the regime through a variety of means, such as public executions, constant surveillance, and the threat of being sent to a labor camp. This atmosphere of terror serves to keep the population in line and prevent any dissent or opposition to the regime. Another important theme is the impact of famine on North Korean society. In the 1990s, a series of famines known as the Arduous March killed hundreds of thousands of people. Demick describes how the famine affected each of her characters, from Mi-ja's struggle to feed her family in the countryside to Dr. Kim's frustration with the regime's inability to address the crisis. The famine also led to an increase in black market activity and criminality, as people resorted to desperate measures to survive. Throughout the book, Demick highlights the resilience and adaptability of the North Korean people in the face of immense hardship. Characters like Mi-ja and Jun Sang demonstrate how individuals can find ways to survive and even thrive under the most difficult circumstances. However, she also shows that this resilience comes at a cost, as it often requires people to compromise their moral values and engage in activities that they would otherwise find abhorrent. In conclusion, Nothing to Envy provides a powerful and deeply moving account of life in North Korea, through the stories of 6 ordinary citizens. Nick's meticulous research and empathetic storytelling bring to light the harsh realities of life under the totalitarian regime of Kim Jong-il, while also revealing the strength, courage, and resilience of the North Korean people. The book is an essential read for anyone interested in understanding one of the world's most secretive and repressive nations.